guys, welcome back to this place. If you are new, welcome here for the very first time. I'm Carmen, this is Nimue, this is River, and today we are delving into a brand new show, and that is, as I'm sure you can tell by the title, For All Mankind. This is season 1, episode 1, and you guys voted for it on Patreon, and so here I am watching it. I am pretty excited about it. I love science fiction. If you've been around here at all, you know that. If not, I love science fiction. So from what I understand, it is science fiction, and it's about like the space race, I think. And that's kind of as far as my knowledge on the show goes. I know that it was created by Ronald D. Moore, who also did Battlestar Galactica, which I have reactions to and I absolutely loved. So I'm very excited to delve into this, especially because I have almost no knowledge of what I'm even about to watch, which I always think is a really exciting way to enter a show, by just being completely clueless about what it is. So without any further ado, let's get right into episode 1.
Our great system will be judged by how we do in the field of space.
Well, not just that.
And therefore this country, both political parties, have determined that the United States shall be first.
Okay, June 26th, 1969. Okay.
They are on the moon,
Oh,
ladies
okay.
and gentlemen.
So this is slightly different then, right?
Radio and television signals from the moon take less than 2 seconds to reach us here on Earth. So if we do get television pictures, they'll be essentially broadcasting live.
NASA Road. Is that a real place? I don't know.
We have a picture? Sid, can we patch into...
I know both my parents watched the moon landing, or listened to it. I'm not sure if you could watch it.
and describe it? What was considered a fantasy just a short
Why
time
don't they
ago
seem
is
excited?
coming true right before our eyes.
Shouldn't they be excited? They landed on the moon.
A man is about to set foot on the moon.
That would be crazy. I mean, it still is crazy.
Don't know what he's saying, obviously, but we'll get
Ah.
a translation of his words.
So, the US wasn't the first then. That's why everybody's not excited, right?
I take this step for my country, for my people, and for the Marxist-Leninist way of life. Knowing
Okay.
that today is but one small step on a journey that someday will take us all to the stars.
Okay. I guess it would be embarrassing, like they said, because, you know, we did declare that the United States, that we would be the first, and then they failed in this iteration of, or this story, I should say, right?
They should have let you land. Then we would have been first.
He's trying
Yeah.
to be
Well,
supportive.
that wasn't my mission, buddy.
Morning, Poppy.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Oh, True Blood. Sorry.
Training for Apollos 12 to 20 will also continue as planned. But not today.
Okay.
First, we had to be pissed off. And we were.
He's telling them to be mad, but it's okay.
So before we go back to work, it's time to be pissed.
I think that's a good,
All training evolutions for today have been canceled.
I think that's like a good
I suggest
way to work through your
you all
emotions.
take the weekend to go out, get drunk, kick your dog,
Okay,
gnash your
don't do
teeth,
that.
howl at the moon, or do whatever suits your purpose.
Don't hurt a doggo.
Come Monday morning,
Be ready to work.
we're back to work.
I think that's fair. Minus the kicking the dog. You know, like, go get your emotions out, be pissed, do whatever, and then move past it, come back to work.
Last one buys.
You don't have to tell them twice. Oh, they all have like the same kind of car. Is it a Corvette? Yeah. This is so unsafe. Oh god. Okay, y'all are being a bit too reckless. It's starting to worry me a little bit. That's gonna be so much to clean up.
We said we had a 95% confidence level the January vehicle was unmanned, but we only had 80% confidence on the second launch.
Only 80%.
The president must understand that
It's still pretty high.
our program is much more robust, more capable in every way. We will not only match the Soviets, we will surpass them. NASA is prepared
Where's
to
the
extend
proof,
manned
though?
exploration beyond the moon. Mankind's journey into the cosmos has only just begun.
Where you gonna go?
Wasted opportunity.
Wouldn't go that far.
Oh, you were there. You saying there wasn't an opportunity to land?
It's not in the mission plan.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But in retrospect, sure it'd have been. I mean, knowing what you know now, wouldn't a smart move been for Apollo 10 to land on the moon?
Yeah, but you can't have hindsight in the past. It only exists in the future.
Of course, I guess it's a moot point since there wasn't enough fuel on board, and the Lynn was too heavy to land anyway.
Bunch of bullshit. Snoopy was heavier than Eagle, had a little less fuel. But all that means is we would have had a little narrower safety margin if we'd gone for the land. Ain't that right, Ed?
That's a fact.
I gotta get that.
So you just contradicted the head guy though, and he's a reporter, so he gonna report on that. Literally his whole job.
Why they didn't have the guts to let you land? Huh?
You got some balls, man.
I'm saying, I mean, NASA's always...
He's trying to push the buttons.
We don't have guts at NASA anymore.
You maybe don't want to say that to a reporter, sir.
It was the fire.
The Apollo 1 fire.
But we stopped taking risks at NASA.
You should say off the record, just, you know.
And that's why we lost the moon.
I would just, you know, maybe say off the record. Just throw that in there. Just a little bit.
Thanks, Ed.
Your name's Aleda. The 30th of June. So she made it to 4 days past the moon landing, I guess.
Guido, this is Margo. I think I recognize that alarm. It's okay. They can still land.
Margo, you're out of your lane. This is a Guido issue.
Margo.
I know the code. 1202 is a program alarm for the AGC signaling executive overflow, no vac. The computer is rebooting itself, but it's not a problem.
Houston, we need a reading on the 1202.
Guido! Still don't have it, Flake.
Margo does, though. Let's listen to her.
Okay. I'm calling it. Abort the landing. Eagle, Houston, abort. Repeat, abort landing.
Maybe we should promote Margo.
You hesitated, and the landing was aborted.
You're always telling me that I have to respect the chain of command.
Yes.
Well, in this situation, I felt that the chain of command...
No, not feel. This is not a place for feelings. Something is or it is not. That is science. It's about fact. You had the facts on your side, but you felt intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
He's not wrong.
Yes?
Yes.
Well, that is the problem. You want to be a flight controller, to be Fido on a real mission. Then you must only do that which advances the work. Understand?
I mean, she lives at this fucking place. I think that she is all about the work.
All it would have taken was some guts. But we
Yeah.
don't have guts at NASA anymore. That's why we didn't beat the Russians to the moon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dang. He worked for Newsweek.
I didn't say anything in that article that you and I haven't talked about in this very office.
That's not meant for outside ears, though.
The president is looking for someone to blame, and you just served up the whole goddamn agency for a necktie party.
Yep.
They really Might cancel everything after 11.
That's usually what happens when the race is over. Winner collects their prize, loser goes home.
He's not wrong.
Housing isn't great, but it's Oahu, so you can't complain, right? I mean, not that you'll see much of Oahu because you'll be commanding your squadron on your carrier on Yankee Station flying strike missions over Vietnam.
It's what I do, Karen.
That is a goddamn useless thing to say.
I didn't know it was gonna blow up like this.
Why? Because you were just two guys in a bar talking and telling it like it is?
Something like
to
that.
A reporter.
Yeah.
I thought there was supposed to be this code. You know, the pilot's code that says you're not supposed to talk about your feelings? Like how you might feel about not landing on the moon, or I don't know, how you feel about the whole damn space program. The code says you're not supposed to talk about those things. That's what you said, not with your buddies, not with your family, not with your wife.
Nothing to do.
I mean, who knew? Who knew that all it took was a couple of drinks in a dive bar for you to break that code? I'm gonna learn to drink with the guys. Yeah, because then I can find out how my husband really feels about his job. Or I'll just read about it in the newspapers with everyone else. Right?
I mean, he seems pretty closed off.
You, Nick?
Yeah, couch is too damn small.
I like it that way.
Because then you have to come back to bed.
Why is that?
So there's no other choice.
So I'm here to help you boys get back to work any way I can. From Siberia, I bring you adjusted fuel and payload calculations for the SROB.
I think Siberia sits over there.
That's good. That was an olive branch. They're like, we forgive you.
We will call a man on the moon from a telephone. It's amazing.
I told them. You know what Ziegler said? The president doesn't usually call the silver medalist.
Got it.
Damn.
We put a man on the moon today. I guarantee we are not stopping there. We're going to Mars, Saturn, the asteroids, the stars, deep space.
Deep space. Damn.
The galaxy. And then we're getting answers to the big questions. Are we alone? Is there life out there? I am proud.
Still don't know that.
To be a member of this team. And I know that we will succeed today in our mission in putting 2 Americans on the moon. Because in this room, in this agency, in this country, failure is not an option.
It's a pretty good speech. I would clap were I there. You know?
You ever think about what you'd have said if it had been you?
What's that?
Like what?
If you were the first man on the moon.
You would have said, like, your
Probably
first
something
words.
better than I'm here for the Marxist-Leninist way of fucking life, I'm sure.
Never thought about it.
Doubt.
Never?
Doubt. Doubt,
Never
doubt,
was.
doubt, doubt, doubt.
Well, I thought about it a lot.
Oh, yeah?
So what would you say, Gordo?
Thanks, Pam.
Anytime,
Well, first I thought, maybe quote one of the classics. Aristotle, Plutarch, Voltaire.
D. Martin.
And then I thought, no, it should be about today. No. The whole world seems like it's tearing itself apart. War, death, hate. Chicago last year. Cops just beating on those
I was
kids.
like, I don't know enough about history.
You remember? Maybe a man being up on the moon
Would give them some perspective.
might make people like that just lift their eyes for a moment and look past that hate and see something bigger.
It's a very idealistic
Bigger, like-
way of looking at it.
Hope.
kind of like him.
So what would you say, Gordo?
Is he gonna say something stupid?
I would have said, I'm Gordo Stevens and I come in peace.
Yeah, he would have said something stupid.
3 times a night.
Dumbass.
Everyone believes it would be in the best interest of the agency and the country for Edward to make a public denial.
I was gonna say,
stating
it's gonna be about her
emphatically
husband.
that he was grossly misquoted by that reporter and strongly disassociating himself from those remarks.
Eddie would never get up and lie. He went to Annapolis. Right duty, honor, country, those things matter to him.
You don't have to go to Annapolis to have integrity, Karen.
No, I don't mean to imply that, but I know my husband...
Duty, honor, country. I believe in those things.
Okay.
Sometimes.
And?
You have to pick two.
Come on now, Neil. You got this, buddy. Right down the pipe.
Oh, okay, gather round, gather round.
Okay, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous.
I see the shadow. Wait. Got some boulders up ahead. Right in our path. I'm going long. Looking for a better sight. Thrusting forward.
Okay, good.
100 feet, 3.5 down, 9 forward, 5%.
Okay.
Control, how much fuel does he have left? 20 seconds, flight.
75 feet.
Rocks everywhere. Still looking for a spot to set down.
He's outside the safety margin.
Oh god, what is that?
Should we abort?
They can't afford to abort at this
Who knows
point.
the situation? It's his spacecraft now.
They can't abort. Oh god.
Lights on, 20 feet. Picking up some dust.
Lot of dust.
Drifting right. Watch that one! Watch it!
We've lost telemetry.
No bio
Oh
readings.
no.
Lost contact. AGC is negative, and no data from the onboard computer.
Flight, I've got nothing here.
Did they crash?
No signal. Settle down, people. Settle!
Capcom, see if you can raise the limb.
Eagle, Houston, do you read?
That was a catastrophic event.
So they crashed.
Yeah, that's what I was
Most
thinking.
likely.
The skin on the Eagle's so thin you could punch a hole in it with a screwdriver.
What? That doesn't seem safe to be in fucking outer space.
So they could have survived a breach of the limbs, huh?
How much oxygen are in their suits?
If they are alive, what's our contingency plan?
There is no contingency plan.
Yeah.
There is no way to effect a rescue from the lunar surface.
Columbia will pass over Tranquility in 54 minutes. There's a telescope on board. Maybe Mike can see something from orbit.
Eagle, this is
So
Houston.
they could be alive there and like just crashed, but there's no way to rescue them. That's horrifying. Like you would just suffocate to death on the fucking moon.
I see Eagle. I'd say she's about 6 to 8 miles southwest of the targeted landing site. Seems to be in a pretty rocky area. Can't see any movement or activity.
You wouldn't be able to from that altitude.
At least we know where they are.
Does that help? Can you send someone after them?
Never drink to a success before it happens. Not very scientific, but good advice.
Doctor, we have a problem.
What? A problem could be good. It could be sign of life.
I decided a long time ago that if something like this were to happen, that I wasn't coming home alone. I'm staying right where I am. Columbia out.
He doesn't get to make that decision.
Give him a direct command, an order.
The man's 200,000 miles away. How are you going to enforce it?
Yeah, exactly.
I am not calling the president and telling him that Michael Collins refuses to come home alone.
Find his wife. Get her to talk to him.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Please tell me we're not going to bring this man's wife in.
What was that? Is it Neil and The other guy?
Tranquility Base here. Do you read?
Tranquility Base, Houston. Neil, is that you?
That's affirmative, Houston. Just wanted to let you know that the Eagle has landed. She might have clipped a feather or two on the way down, but she's still here. And so are we.
The guy was ready to die with his friends. Fuck. They got me.
Glad to hear it, Houston. We're pretty happy up here, too, to tell you the truth. I think I got this camera working, Neil. We have a picture, Eagle. Not one of my better landings. But like we used to say in the Navy, any landing that you can walk away from is a good one.
Yeah.
We had a rough start. But we decided to pick ourselves up.
Get back to work.
Well, we did it. We're on the moon.
Now we gotta get them home.
Yeah, I was gonna say. How are you gonna get him back, though? Yeah. They got me. I was like, I assume that's the end of the episode. Whew, they got me. They got me at the end. So I think that was a really good first episode. I thought that it did a really good job of introducing the characters and just like the climate of like where we are, what's happening, and like I was gonna say where we're gonna go, but I honestly don't know where we're gonna go from here. I thought I think it's a really cool sort of premise that we weren't the first on the moon. I do wonder like what overarching or overreaching like implications that's gonna have, because we did still land on the moon in this timeline, right? At the same time that we did in real life, like same day, all that stuff. But it's just, we weren't the first. So how is it going to affect NASA? How is it going to affect the space program? How is it going to affect, like, maybe how bold we're going to be? I also am curious if it's going to, like, in what way is technology maybe going to be affected in the show? Because I don't know if we're going to go into the future. I don't know if we're going to stay where we are. Like, I'm not really sure exactly how this is going to go. And I'm also not sure if we're going to, in the show, have further advancements in technology than maybe we have right now. Because they talked about, like, going to Mars and Saturn and Jupiter, whatever they said, you know, which we have landed the Hubble spacecraft, right? That's the one that landed on Mars. But obviously we have not had humans on Mars. I don't believe. I also must question if I'm the best person for this show, because my knowledge of like the space race and like how far we've gone and all that stuff is sort of limited. You know, obviously I know, you know, we landed on the moon July 20th, 1969. More times since then. I know that now like people have gone into space, like Elon Musk sent like those people, right? Like William Shatner, you know, like they, like whoever else it was that was on that spacecraft that just like went into space and then came back. So that's like just regular people going versus astronauts and stuff. So I know that we've advanced that far. Like, again, I think we've landed the Hubble on Mars. I know that no people have landed on Mars. So I'm just, yeah. Like I said, I don't know. We'll see going forward if my lack of any further, like, more extensive knowledge of the space program will be a hindrance to me, or if we're going to, like, diverge from that. Also, was it the first Apollo? Because they talked about the fire and how they had been, like, or Ed talked about how they hadn't been as courageous since the fire. I'm assuming they're talking about the Apollo spacecraft, which I guess it was Apollo 1. I know, again, my lack of knowledge, but I know one of them, like, exploded going into atmosphere or something, right? So I assume that that's what they're talking about, and that's what they're discussing there. Now, I do think that Ed is correct in saying that all astronauts understand the danger of being astronauts, especially at this time. I mean, it's still dangerous today, but I feel like we have, technology has advanced. It's a bit safer. Like, civilians can go into space now. I mean, it's super expensive and it's not very common still. It's not like taking a fucking bus or anything. But I think our technology has advanced to the point that it's not quite as dangerous as it was in 1969. But I do think that you still have to be the type of person that is willing to risk that to try to travel into space today. But, like, again, especially then. So, I can understand. I also do think, like, putting myself in Ed's shoes throughout this episode, like, knowing that you were that close to landing on the moon and you didn't get to do it, and had you done it, you would have secured that for your country and, like, just yourself. Because, like, if it was safe and there was no danger, and, like, or if it was safe enough that, like, a lot of people had done it, like, I think most of us would be like, yeah, I want to go to the moon. Yeah, I want to go to space and see, like, the Earth from that perspective, because that would be incredible. But it's so dangerous now. Like, I don't think most of us would want to do that, and especially then. But to know, like, you had taken on that danger, like Ed and Gordo, and that, like, you were taking that on yourself, and you were that close, and you could have done it, but you just didn't, because, it just wasn't, you were just the dress rehearsal for the real thing. I think that would be pretty frustrating. And so I understand, like, why, like, the headspace he was coming from when he talked to the reporter. He also had been there all day drinking by the time this reporter came. So it's not like he was in the most coherent mindset. It's not like he was super, like, cognizant of what he was saying. And he was also mad because, again, I think he has a right to be. And so while it was frustrating that he talked to the reporter and said all the things, I also, like, kind of can't blame him and understand, because yeah, it would be frustrating, the situation that they were in. I wonder, I do wonder, like, what the space program is going to be like going forward, what Ed's part in it is. We kind of seem to be following Ed as one of the main characters, so I assume that he's going to have a bigger role to play than just applications going forward. So I'm curious to see what that will be and what the future of the space program is going to look like, because we weren't the first. Like, is it going to make them bolder? Is it going to make them take more risks? Is it going to make them just do more things? Are they going to have the funding in order to do those things? Because the president already, like, Nixon is already, like, he doesn't talk to silver medalists, like, he's kind of being Nixon, I guess, really. But, yeah, So I'm curious as to how all that's going to play out. I'm curious if they'll change like historical events, like, you know, Watergate, like, you know, certain things like that, or if that will also like still happen. I'm curious if Aleda, I think that's how you say her name, if Aleda will become an astronaut, and that's why we're like following her story from the moon landing to crossing over the border to the United States. And I wonder if she's gonna have like a part to play in whatever future the NASA program has. I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious about her part in it. And I like Margo. I'm curious as to what her relationship with, I believe Deke is the older guy, like the German guy. So I'm curious what their relationship is gonna be, and if it's like they're just friends, like maybe because he's like talking about her dad, maybe he knew her dad, so maybe that's how they know each other. I don't know if he like likes her. Yeah, I'm just not really sure where they're going with that relationship, but I'm curious. I'm also just curious about Margo in general. I think that she seems smart and capable, so I'm curious about her future in the program. Marge wants Ed to lie. That's Deke's wife. She wants Ed to lie about and say that the reporter misquoted him and that that's not what he said, and that, hi girly, and that it's just basically like the reporter was lying and he got it wrong and X, Y, and Z. So his wife, Ed's wife, Karen, I think is her name, seems to really think that Ed's not going to be willing to do that. I don't know that it's even necessary for him to do that at this point, now that they have successfully landed on the moon. But yeah, she seems like not a great person, Marge, so we'll have to see where that goes. And last but not least, I think that we have to figure out how the hell we're gonna get these men back from the moon now. Also, the one guy, Collins, being like, I'm not leaving without them. Like, if they're not coming home from the moon, why is it making me emotional again? But he was like, neither am I. Like, that just, it got me. Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully we can figure out a way to get these men back from the moon. Not sure. But, yeah. Anyway, I think that's all that I really have to say. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this first episode of For All Mankind. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can watch the next episode with me right now over on Patreon if you're watching this on YouTube, as well as my entire full-length reaction to this episode. That will be over on Patreon as well, which is linked in the description down below. Yeah. Whew. They got me in the end. I thought I was going to be like, no crying, but they got me. Anyway, until next time. Bye, guys. See, he's going to say bye now. So cute.